Let's jump right into this. Welcome back to another Explainer, where we unpack the tech shaping our future. Today, we're looking at what is honestly turning out to be the ultimate technology showdown of our era. If you follow autonomous tech, you already know the zero-sum narrative floating around out there, right? It's Tesla's pure vision approach going head-to-head against the world of LiDAR, which is championed by companies like Ouster. The popular story is that one of these has to completely destroy the other. But as we're going to see today, the reality of this new physical AI era, it's way more complex, incredibly fascinating, and definitely not a simple winner-take-all situation. To really grasp the sheer scale of the disruption we're dealing with, we have to look back at this pivotal moment. During their April 2026 earnings call, Tesla basically laid down the gauntlet with this exact quote. They completely reframed the whole autonomous driving challenge. With their version 14 end-to-end neural network, they're essentially arguing, hey, if your software is smart enough to extract all the right info from a simple camera feed, throwing expensive, complex hardware at the problem is just redundant. And, this isn't just some friendly technical debate. It's an existential threat. It's an algorithm threatening to literally strip the value out of physical hardware. So, how does a hardware company actually survive that? Well, in this explainer, we're going to cover 4 key areas: the pure vision threat, Ouster's market safe haven, why redundancy means absolute safety, and finally, embracing the physical AI era. Let's kick things off with part 1, the pure vision threat. In the tech world, we call this a dimensional strike, a cognitive shift so massive it completely rewrites the rules of the game. And honestly, it all boils down to this one number, 99.9999%. Think about it. If Tesla proves, conclusively, that an unsupervised pure vision system can handle 99.9999% of all physical world interactions using just off-the-shelf cameras, the valuation pressure on LiDAR companies is going to be massive. Investors are going to be asking, why on earth are we paying thousands of dollars for a laser sensor when a cheap digital camera and a brilliant AI can do the exact same thing? And the immediate fallout of that threat is pretty stark. Suddenly, capital markets start looking at LiDAR as just transition tech, a temporary crutch until the software finally catches up. So even though Ouster has dramatically slashed their costs, they're risking their absolute competitiveness in the mass consumer passenger car market. The whole status quo gets turned upside down. The intrinsic value of the physical sensor plummets, while the value of the algorithm skyrockets. It's this classic David versus Goliath dynamic. And yeah, at first glance, pure vision makes it look like LiDAR is about to be totally obsolete. But let's move on to part 2, Ouster's market's safe haven. We need to take a step back and look at the actual battlegrounds here. Because like I said, this isn't a winner-take-all game. Look at how completely their focuses contrast. Tesla is laser-focused on consumer mobility, private cars, robotaxis, navigating those relatively clean city streets. But Ouster, they operate behind this massive commercial domain shield. Their growth engines are in industrial sites, logistics hubs, smart city infrastructure, and pro-robotics. They are playing on entirely different fields. And those commercial fields are fundamentally different because of the environments. Picture the massive scale and extreme, frankly dangerous conditions where Ouster dominates. We're talking deep underground mining operations, automated shipping docks running at midnight, construction sites choking with heavy dust, or areas with blinding solar glare. In those highly unpredictable, messy environments, a pure vision camera system doesn't just struggle, it goes completely blind. And that brings us to the crucial point. LiDAR isn't just a different way of seeing. It relies on completely different physics. LiDAR uses active illumination. It actually emits its own laser light. That means it can literally cut right through extreme conditions: heavy dust, thick fog, total darkness. In a commercial setting where a few minutes of downtime costs millions of dollars, LiDAR is physically irreplaceable. See, a camera needs ambient light, just like our eyes do, but LiDAR brings its own light. That physical advantage guarantees continuous operation in harsh industrial settings, where a standard camera would just tap out. So how does that translate to the rest of the mobility world? That brings us to part 3. Redundancy means absolute safety. For government regulators demanding level 4 or level 5 autonomy, meaning fully self-driving cars with zero human intervention, being mostly correct is legally and ethically unacceptable. Stakes are literally life and death here. This tech is going to be driving your family and sharing the road with you. So for them, LiDAR isn't some optional, nice-to-have perk. It is a mandatory physical insurance policy. But utilizing multiple overlapping systems like cameras plus LiDAR, it means if one system gets blinded, the other's still there, perfectly mapping out the environment. And that reality has led to what we can lovingly call the Rebel Alliance of automakers. Practically every major OEM and autonomous developer outside of Tesla is actively hedging their bets right now. Look at Waymo, Zoox, or the major auto giants rolling out their 2026 fleets. They're all going with that camera plus LiDAR redundancy route. They know that for true unsupervised autonomy in literally all weather conditions, you absolutely need the overlap that only lasers can provide. All right, moving to our final section, embracing the physical AI era. We're actually moving way beyond the simple camera versus laser debate now, because Ouster isn't just stubbornly clinging to LiDAR while the world passes them by. Their recent strategic acquisition of Stereolabs is a huge signal to the market. It's the ultimate if you can't beat them, join 'em move. It shows Ouster is aggressively embracing visual AI to supplement their physical sensors. This step-by-step evolution shows us exactly what that looks like in the real world. Ouster is building this newly fused technology stack. First, they take the absolute physical truth of LiDAR. Then, they pair it with the rich context of depth cameras. And finally, they tie the whole thing together with advanced AI computing power. It creates a hybridized hardware stack that is vastly more powerful than any single sensor on its own. And there is literally nowhere this fused approach is more critical right now than the booming humanoid robot market. Let's compare the approaches here. On one hand, you've got Tesla's Optimus, strictly using pure vision. But to make that work, Optimus needs staggering amounts of compute power and billion-level datasets just to train its neural net. It's a massive, astronomical undertaking. On the other hand, competitors like Figure 03 or Agility's Digit are utilizing sensor fusion with Ouster sensors. Why? Because it gives them fast deployment, incredibly high perception precision right out of the gate, and it highly mitigates their risk. Because here's the reality, for the vast majority of small or medium robotics companies, or even smart city projects, they just don't have Tesla's massive multi-billion-dollar AI budget. They can't spend years training a proprietary visual model. For them, buying an off-the-shelf Ouster sensor is the ultimate solution. It's the absolute cheapest, fastest, and lowest risk path to getting millimeter precision and perfectly accurate depth maps. Literally straight out of the box. So what we're really witnessing here is this fascinating reality of coopetition. Yes, Tesla's massive success with FSD is probably going to destroy the market for cheap, low-end auto LiDAR. But at the exact same time, FSD's capabilities are defining the incredibly high new standards of this physical AI era. And to compete with Tesla, every other company has to hit that standard right now. Ouster is perfectly pivoting to be the premier hardware provider that lets everyone else catch up. The future isn't vision or LiDAR. The future is absolutely vision plus LiDAR. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this final thought. Tesla's pure vision might build the most beautiful, advanced walled garden the tech world has ever seen. But outside those walls, there is an entire globe of robots, industrial machines, and autonomous fleets that still need to see in the dark, push through the dust, and operate with absolute mathematical certainty. FSD might redefine the standard, but consider the massive, untapped potential of the company that's arming the rest of the physical AI revolution. Thanks for hanging out with me on this deep dive, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.